Hi everyone, happy November. I hope you are doing well. I thought that I would make this intro video while I'm shuffling for the next reading. I want to explain something. First and foremost, I want to thank you from beyond my life, honestly, beyond my soul. I am beyond grateful for all of the amazing emails, all of the well wishes, all of the positive energies. What you don't even realize that you did was, and I can't be more grateful. I don't do well with modern medicine. I don't, and it's terrifying because I'm always the one that, they'll say, oh well, in general. I'm always that one that I'm always the in general that doesn't fit into that. So anything that works for someone else most likely will not work for me. So it's always terrifying, especially with having to deal with this, because I'm like the one that nothing works for. But the one thing that had worked for me, like I said, for 30 years, and people were always amazed, including doctors, that I really didn't come out of remission a lot. And when it did, I could snap it back in. It was never like this. And I knew going into this, when it wasn't getting better, it was getting worse, that something, might really happen here. It was a little terrifying. So I'm glad to say, though, that the minute that I decided to put that out there, I really did feel things switch. So you have no idea how much you absolutely helped me, and I could not be more grateful. So thank you for that. And thank you also for all of the emails with recommendations. Herbal things, again, without you guys even realizing it, that's the route I go, because those things work for me. Modern medicine doesn't, but all of those suggestions that you got, and I noticed that most of you said, I hope I'm not overstepping, and I get that, because I'm always the one busting through someone's, space. So don't ever think, when you've got something to offer someone, always follow through with that, because that's how we learn things. That's how we get ideas. That's how, when someone sends me something, I'll test drive it and I'll share it with someone else. So always do that. For some of you, if you're looking and you think you're sitting on nothing, sometimes you'll see a reading come through and it's like, oh, well, I don't have any gifts. Those are gifts. Those are beyond gifts, because those change people's lives. And I'll tell you that, I can tell you that just by what I've received here. So there you go. Okay. Secondly, I want to point out how I'm doing the readings for this month. All right. As you know, if you're following my channel, you know my readings are a little bit different. They're a little bit more deep. My goal, because that is what my lifetime is about, is empowering you to go and empower your life. So I can't give you a little reading. I need to give you what's underneath it, so that when you come up against it, it helps you. You know why something's happening. It makes the shifts a little bit easier. Okay, so what I'm doing this time is that, and this is the first time also ever that I've done readings over, because they were so not sitting with me. And then I would get a lot of messages afterward, just that it was right. It shouldn't go that way. And I just was getting like a fog was coming over me when I was doing the reading, and I did too. And it was just like, no, it's not right. And I stopped and I meditated on it, and no, I shouldn't have pulled the trigger on those, and I didn't. What I'm doing here is I'm going down. I'm getting underneath what these changes that you'll be experiencing are for. Okay, they're larger, they're big, they're going to be, being reborn is such a cliche, but it's like you're going to be present with this one. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to come into this life like the new baby. You're going to come into the life with what you've acquired until now, good, bad, and indifferent. And you're going to step into your life, right? And you're going to do it in a way that could be terrifying. But what I want you to know is that relationships on all fronts, that's you and someone else. I don't care if it's your animal or whoever it is, right? It's not just one-on-one relationships. So please don't cap out on that. You're the other half of any equation in your life, okay? But some relationships are going to end. Some have taught you things, but now you go on to something else. Some jobs, some careers, some talents, some things you want to do, some things you want to eat, some things you don't want to eat, the way you want to look, how you want to how you want to step into yourself, how you trust your intuition, how you trust yourself. Your life is changing for each of you in a different way. You're dissolving something and you're evolving something. That's why the readings that I'm doing is dissolve, evolve, and what are my blessings in here, right? And remember, blessings can sometimes come in a holy crap that really hurt. Those are blessings too, okay? But what we're dissolving, where we're evolving. Okay, so that's how I'm going down into this reading. So you're going to realize when you come up against these things, which are probably going to be big game changers. I feel like karma's being paid off here. I feel like health issues are being leveled out in whatever way that is. I think that relationships, how we stand up, how we show up, the things we put our hands on, what we really want to do is changing. But it's changing at a holy crap instant level. Some of the things, right? Some of the things can be a little bit of a shock and an awe, right? Things like that. I know that people are saying, and I'm not pulling on Uranus in here, I'm just pointing this out, that I've noticed that Uranus is not, people are rah-rahing it. It's a liberation planet, and it is, but it usually comes in the form of like a lightning strike to your ass is what it comes, and it comes like in a blink of an eye. So it's a little terrifying, and I know that it's in a lot of these things, but I'm pulling here for you guys, okay, and how things are going to transpire. So when these things come along, or when a relationship is really just, it's toxic, it's not able to be mended, you're just not going to see eye to eye on things, it makes this a little bit easier to face that, right? Realizing that you're dissolving things and you're evolving with things. But my intention for this type of reading is to get under what you'll be experiencing starting this month, right? So use the other tarot readers that you're dealing with or that you're watching. Use those as how this will apply to me, but this will be like the master plan, right? As to why those things are happening. And then in December, I'll go back to the normal. I'll hit it as a normal reading, but I want you to have this blueprint as to how things, take what works for you and don't, and leave the rest. My suggestion for this month, okay, is to look at your rising sign first, because that to me is why you chose to be in this life now. Okay, then your sun and your moon and whatever else you choose to look at. Okay, however this fits for you, but for my readings, because I'm pulling on why is this person here? What is their intent in this life, right? Why did they choose to come here? Those were what I asked to be seen. Okay, so for this month, for me, for this channel, and for us, just please use your rising sign. Okay, so there you go. I hope this was short enough. I know you guys hate it, but again, I cannot ever thank you enough for what you did, and I'm beyond grateful. So there you go. Hi, Cancer. Happy November. I hope you're doing well. Okay. I think that this time for you, and it will absolutely be longer than a month for sure. I think this is more kind of like a new life, a new lifestyle, a new way of living from the inside out. Okay. I think it's a really good time for you. I think you are universally supported. I think that it's time to do something for yourself. How do I say? Independently, meaning make it yours. Not about everybody else. This is about you stepping into your independence here. I'm not saying my big message, no matter what you take from this, please take away, don't do the swinging of the pendulum. You know what I mean? Don't do the extremes like that. This is about finding peace in the middle, right? Realizing that we can do the we, but I also have to do the me. You know what I mean? Don't be so swept away, I'm going to say, I think, in the big picture. In the crowd, find yourself. Know who you are and where you are in that picture, right? So that's what I'm saying here. I think that it's a great time for health improvements. If things have been not so wonderful for you, I think that they'll improve. But I also feel that you need to take a part in this. I think, like I say, this is a whole lifestyle, a whole new way of living. A whole new way of taking care of yourself, of nurturing yourself and others, right? It's kind of like you've got the world in your hands and you're going to nurture them and yourself here. I can do this, but I also need to do me, right? I think there's also a lot of angst around partnerships, but I think that this is something that I hear it, so it's got to be for the masses, yes, or I wouldn't be picking up on it, but I don't think it's something that paralyzes you or trips you up. I think it's something you're already aware of, and I think that what you're going to be coming into is figuring out why and where that comes from and being okay with that, and it resolves it, right? That's kind of why I'm doing the readings this way, because we can see the big picture, and then when the little, for lack of a better way to say it, some of the things are going to be they're going to be significant, they're going to be painful, they're going to be hard, they're the first time out of the gate, right? But once you know why it's happening, it makes these things a little bit more easy to step into, right? To step into the unknown. Okay, now what you're dissolving here, it's funny because when I threw your cards, I started in a different way. I don't know why I did that, but I know enough to know it wasn't just because. So what I kept to this. And then as I got into your meditation, I could figure out why that happened, right? So I was a little bit, at first I was a little bit, when I saw what had happened, but then I figured out why it had happened, and it made perfect sense. Okay, so we've got, what we're dissolving is the Sun card, and I think that it's great. Now where you're evolving is the Death or Transformation card. And when I flipped the two, I put this, which normally I'm starting in the dissolve and evolve, right? That was my platform. But what happened was the first card that came out was the Death card, Transformation. And where I put it, not thinking, was where you're evolving. But I see now why this is happening. Because where you're dissolving is the Sun card. And the Sun card, this is where I'm really going to show you guys why this Sun card is a great card. Yes, but it's not free. You know what I'm saying? In this particular read, the way that I'm doing it for you, it's harmony, it's happiness, it's merging, it's joy, it's harmony, it's the Yes card, it's the marriage card, but it's when these two people, right? You'll usually always see two people on that Sun card because it's the paradigm between wanting freedom and wanting to be in a relationship of all kind. It's like me and the world, right? And it's working with the two and realizing that there's got to be structure and order. What happens when you let something run willy-nilly, right? Like it runs all over the place. There's no order. There's no structure. You're not seeing it all. You know what I mean? It's like there's a reason why things need to be orderly. Why there's rules and governances and things like that, proper ones. I'm not talking greed-induced ones. I'm talking about there's a reason why, eating one piece of candy opposed to 100 is gonna do you better. You've got the whole bag, but if you eat the whole bag, you're not gonna find the harmony that you're looking for. But if you have one piece, yes. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason for. Now with that Sun card, what you're dissolving here, I feel, is where you are unsettled in relationships of all kinds, right? And that's why I said the initial picture that I got coming into your reading was be able to pick yourself out of a big portrait, right? There's a zillion people here in the world, but be able to find yourself in this, right? That's what I think that you're dissolving here with the Sun card. And I feel that it's around relationships, like I say, but I think that it's a rattled feeling about either the relationships that you get in or the part that you play in them. And again, that goes back to where am I in here? We can take care of everyone else and we can nurture people. Yes, absolutely. But the key here, the catalyst for you is you need your own independence in all of this, or you get swept away and you're taken advantage of and you're not able to stand on your own 2 feet. And it's here where you've had lifetimes of that. And it's now, I need to stand on my own 2 feet. I need to really take a look at what I'm doing in relationships and being able to pull on stuff that is subconscious, right? The things that are subconscious, lifetimes in the past, early childhood, however you want to coin it, it's subconsciously in there for you. And I know that you feel it. So it's that's why a lot of times cancers will they'll have these massive mood swings because this crap, a lot of it isn't yours. And I shouldn't say crap, that was wrong. It was just a lifetime lived where you kind of sacrificed yourself for everyone else. This time, yes, you know how to pamper, you know how to take care of people. You know what I'm saying? But it's I need to do me now too, right? And that's, I think, the balance that you're trying to find in the Sun card. And it's the false sense of the relationships maybe that I build for myself, or the way that I show up. Am I a people pleaser when something is really like you're just in the inside, you're like, I cannot believe that this person really just said that. Like, that's what you're thinking. But on the outside, you're like, yeah, sure, I'll do that for you. You know, it's something like that where it's kind of like the paradox needs to be fixed here, right? And where you're evolving here is the Death card. It's the transformation card. It's the digging deep and realizing that, yes, I do need to make this. It's going in a new direction. It's pulling on the past, though. But this is a really powerful card because it says that, to me, that you realize that this is something that needs to take place, right? And what I want to say here with this is you want to pull away from, if guilt comes into this picture, you know what I mean? You want to pull that away, because that'll sabotage you right in the water. And I assure you that if you're in relationships anyway, and this doesn't need to be a one-on-one, but people, I assure you, have already figured out how to push your buttons. So you're going to need to be very, very clear with yourself on this journey that you're going on, and make it very balanced for yourself, okay? And that's where I think that because if you look, they're kind of like looking right at each other. Like, I need to stand solo in here, and then I can make the sun come out. Again, it's like from the dark to the light, right? And that's where you're going. But ironically, you see how these cards can be very, very different. Someone can look at that Sun card and say, oh, yay! And they can look at the Death card and say, holy crap! But they're opposite. You see how the light comes out here from the dark? Like, I need to fix this. I need to stick my hand down in that clogged drain, pull the thing out, and then the sun comes out, right? That's what I feel is happening here for you. So ironically, this is the Sun card once you get it. And ironically, this is the Death card once you get it. You see what I'm saying? So you have to be cognizant of these things when you're doing what you're doing. Now, I think the blessings that come for you here are the Magician. Okay. And I think that this is like, I'll show you. And oh my gosh, your reading is phenomenal. I swear to God it is. And all these months and years actually, Cancer asks me, why? Where the hell is my break? You know what I mean? It's here. And now you'll see why all of this crap has gone on, right? You guys have gotten a bad rap. You've taken a long run, I should say. And you've got the High Priestess. One thing I should point out too, I think I did it in the intro, is I'm only using trumps because I can hone in on exactly what you need to do. A lot of times when I'm doing a relationship read or something for someone and they're asking, you know, will this person ever, do they have marriage on their mind? And normally I'll get this from someone that's been like in a relationship dating for like 7 years. And I'll use trumps because I can tell instantly where that's going. So this is why I'm doing this. Okay, now what you've also got here is the Magician. You have no idea, unless you read tarot, how amazing this is. And on the outbound here, how you transcend is the Emperor. See the independence here? You've got to love the irony here. I know I'm getting real excited, but I assure you, you go from like the me to the I to the now I can stand on my own and I can rule my kingdom. The Emperor is stable, but I can rule my kingdom with the kingdom, right? I can stand on my own to get in the trenches with the other people, but I still know I'm in here, right? All right, so what I feel here is that you're coming into a time too, if you've got something that you wanted to do, or you're wanting to change careers, or you're wanting to do something intellectually, now would be a time where you're pushed to do that. So if it's right, whatever it is to you, say you've got knowledge in something, or you love reading this particular book, or you're schooled in something, or you're intellectual in something. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is, you know this, right? The Magician is I know this. I've gathered all the fruits for this. I know this intellectually. Now I've got to figure out how to apply this, right? The magician is external. It's the I'm going to write it down. The high priestess is like, okay, let's get our plan now. Now we need to get the schooling for this to get the show on the road here. Okay? Where I think that this is day-to-day stuff too. So this is your relationships on a day-to-day. This is your health on the day-to-day. It's the things you instinctively know. It's getting your emotions, it's getting all of your faculties. You want to stay in the present too. You do not want to look ahead here. You want to stay right where you're at. You want to stay in the day-to-day, because the jumping off point for you here is to stay in the present, in your day-to-day stuff, in your routines. Make your routines things that you enjoy doing, right? That's what you're trying to do here. This is, I assure you, whatever you put your hands on will absolutely be a healing, whatever it is. And sometimes people will say to me, well, they think automatically when someone says healing that it's like, oh, I'm going to be a tarot reader, I'm going to be an astrologer, I'm going to be this or that. It's anything where if you have something that helps you, like say you read constantly, you read this particular subject matter, right? But you don't apply it anywhere. But when you read that book, it makes you feel at peace. It makes you feel at home. If you're jewelry making, I have one client, she says, I have no healing ideas, and her chart is riddled with, she should be like a high priestess. But she says, no, I don't. But she says, when I do my jewelry, I feel so at peace. That she's healing herself so that she can heal herself, and in that, people around her. In time, she'll do something with that. I know she will. But that's my point. We always think we're supposed to be doing these big, grandiose things, but it's not. It's these little things. But for you, it's you're merging things that you've got. You're an old soul that has done it all. So now it's like you help people by not even realizing that. Sorry, guys, the battery died. Where I was in all of that is your soul has come into this life to experience nurturing from a different point, right? Like, and it's funny because where you have got here is the high priestess. I'm sorry, the priestess, which is the Hierophant in the tarot deck, the other tarot decks. It's all about, again, you've got to look at the irony of these. I know I'm probably more excited than you. I need a visual for you. Okay. Where are you? Okay. Start with the over here. You have intellectual knowledge, okay? You know things that you don't even think that you know because you're so busy taking care of other people. But I know this comes from past lifetimes too. So there's no way that it's not true for any of you. And now with the high priestess, that's where it's coming from. It's the intellect and the knowledge. And with the Hierophant here, which is the Pope or whatever, it's you've done this. You've done this for masses. You've been like maybe the high priestess or the Hierophant. You've done this for maybe it was some kind of religious thing that you did, or you just ran really large something, but you know how to nurture people, right? And now you've got the Emperor on the outbound. You've got to look at these two. There's a reason that they're both standing, okay? It's because when you sit, you're sitting in power. You've sat in power before, right? Like you've ruled the roost in some large conglomerate before, okay? But what's happening here is the reason I think that with the Hierophant is I understand this. So now I've got to understand it in a way and get it out there to the masses where I've got independence, right? Relationships are huge for you, right? So of all kinds, but I think that there's some inadequacy where you may feel like you know how to do relationships on the masses. Where I think you get worried and where you think you need to latch on is with one-on-one relationships, right? But then what do we do in those cases? We show up as people we're not, right? And that's what you're working through, realizing that the one-on-one relationships will be stronger, but they'll be supportive of you. You're not going to be lost in the shuffle where you take care of everyone else and you don't take care of yourself. You see the balance here? And that's going forward confidently, right? And that's where you're transcending here with the Emperor. It's on stable ground. It's standing up. It's, I can stand up for myself. I can do for myself, but I can also do for my family, my friends, and my surroundings. So what you're doing here is you're really not tweaking a lot, but you're tweaking where you stand up and say, look, I need to be accounted for here. I need to count. And you don't need to count for someone else. You need right now to count for yourself and not feel guilty about it. The other thing that I would suggest with you, because you've got these two cards, which are pretty significant. If you're wanting to do something large, and I'm going to say this to you now, housewives they do this to me all the time. And I can see how it can be, but don't discount what you've got. If you could corral a family, for crying out loud, you can absolutely orchestrate anything out in the world. There is the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world, and this isn't a masculine feminine thing. It's just saying that when you're able to do things in a way that you're not even thinking about because it's so second nature, you can absolutely do the things that you're terrified to do. You don't realize you've already got the skill set for it, but I think that you've just got to merge these two, right? And get your plan out there to a way that you're comfortable with, that people understand you. That's the thing too. It needs to be on a ground where I think that it's understood, right? This is all about, it needs to be your comfort zone too, once you get out there. And again, I think you need to really go deep and figure out what that is, because I think you're overlooking something about yourself, something grand about yourself that you've just been doing for your entire life for other people, but you don't see it in yourself, right? A lot of people who are nurturers, they're so tough on themselves, it's second nature to do this, right? It's second nature to nurture other people. So you overlook these things. You've got something here, but I think that the things that are going to present themselves for you for the next I think, part of your life, I'll say, is going to be things that they feel uncomfortable to you, but familiar. Go with that. Go deep with that. Take time for yourself to figure out what these things are, and don't let people sabotage you here. If you're in a solid relationship, a one-on-one relationship, because I can already feel like these things are going to be coming up. Don't feel that if you decide now to start your own independent quest, whatever that is. Again, it's like not swinging the pendulum though, like you don't want to do this because it's going to freak out the people with you. And that's when the relationships will get shaken up. You want to go in the middle. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with wanting something for yourself and being able to support your family and be there for your family. It's, some relationships, though, aren't going to support that, and they'll be the ones that dissipate. But other relationships will become stronger and go in a whole different direction here. That's what I feel. But I think that with the major changes that are coming up, I think some come up out of the blue. Some come up really fast. Some opportunities present themselves really fast. You may be in the right place at the right time where, you're universally pushed to do this, and the right entity arrives and gives you that door. Those are the things that I think are going to come up. So the reason that I'm doing these readings is so that you can take something from here and say, that must be what this is about. And it helps you tread forward a little bit easier, because a lot of times our day-to-day routines, when they get shaken up, it's like, ooh, I don't know what to do now. As crappy or unsettled or unhappy as it was, they get shaken up. There are routines. They're what makes life doable sometimes. Even if they're the crappiest routines, they still are, right? So that's what you're doing here. I think you're really pulling the sun down for a minute to get in there, and then the sun comes up back again, but it's brighter than ever, and you're completely happy. You're going to help people here, I assure you. Whatever you lay your hands on in this new chapter of your life will be literally all that glitters is gold, and that will be specific to you. And I'll tell you right now, it's a win-win for everyone in your surroundings. So the relationships, I think of that movie, what is it, Fried Green Tomatoes, where her husband was like, But then he got in the groove of it, and he was like more proud of her. Or look at what is that other movie with the horse? Ooh, Secretariat. He was like, wanted her home, wanted this, but when she stood up, not only did she empower him, she empowered her children. Step into your own. Don't miss this opportunity. Don't think this needs to be something either that comes along your way that's big and grandiose. It's the switch inside of you. You don't even have to change anything in your life except yourself. And that's when people are going to feel that energy of an independent person, a self-sufficient person, you know, someone who can do for other people, make the goodie basket, you know, do whatever it is, but you're still an independent person, and you'll say no. When you need to say no, I need time for myself. I need energy for myself. This is the thing too. Don't deplete yourself to the point of not having anything left for yourself. Give yourself the best of yourself, not the rest of yourself, and everyone else in your environment. And we can do that when we meet in the middle, right? Instead of this is like not going to work anymore. Whoosh. Meanwhile, it's too much. You can't switch energy like that. It's like an F5 tornado. You will have nothing left. So, plus people in your surroundings aren't going to be able to move that fast. You know what I mean? You're going to flip them out. But I think a lot of you are realizing that I was really just not myself in these relationships, and now I am. Sometimes, honestly, Cancer, I feel, is really here to show the masses. You're here to show the masses, but you're so busy in the trenches trying to fix everything for everyone else that sometimes you never get out of the gate. I see that a lot, but this answers that question that you guys have been asking for years. When the hell is Cancer going to get a break? You're going to get it now, and you're going to get it in a very liberating way. So I hope that you understand why I went about this. You've got amazing cards here. I don't think you even realize this is like literally, there's no better way to say it except you know how to master this. You know how to master this journey of yours now, and you're ruling your kingdom, and not from a way that is from a way of what's good for me is good for everyone, and it's as a whole. So I hope that I helped you in some way. Have a lovely November. If you need a private reading, please reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to help you with anything. Thank you. This was a pleasure to do. This was really, I'm thrilled to deliver this reading. You've got to just look at this. I mean, holy cow. They're showing up opposite than what they are. So it just goes to show you what you see is not always what you get. So next time you have a tarot reading from someone and that death card comes up with the sun card, just realize you may have some work to do in there, but the sun will absolutely come out to the point where you may want to put on some sunblock. So there you go, my lovelies. I hope that I helped you.